Uh, Before we start, Virgo, I want you to close your eyes for just a second, take a breath, and think about that person, the one who's been on your mind, the one you've been pulling back from, the one you've been quiet with. Do you have them in your mind's eye? Good. Now hold that image because what I'm about to tell you is going to change the way you see everything that's been happening between you. I'm Anna. This is Virgo. And let me tell you why I almost didn't do this reading. The energy was so chaotic, so tangled, so full of unspoken panic that I didn't know if I could make sense of it. It was like walking into a room where someone has been pacing for hours and the air is thick with their anxiety. And then I realized that panic isn't coming from you, it's coming from them. You've been silent, you've been pulling back, and they are absolutely losing their mind over it. I want to show you exactly what's happening inside their head. Not what they're showing you, not what they're saying, but what's really going on behind the mask they're wearing. Because trust me when I tell you, they are not taking your silence as well as you think. Let me paint you a picture of what their last few days or weeks have looked like. They wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is reach for their phone, not to scroll social media, not to check the news, to see if you've messaged them, to see if there's any sign of life from you, any indication that you're still there, still thinking about them, still present. And when they see nothing, when the screen is empty, they feel something sink in their chest, something heavy, something that doesn't lift for the rest of the day. They go through their routine. They brush their teeth. They get dressed. They go to work or school or whatever it is they do. And the whole time you're there in the back of their mind, a constant hum, a background noise they can't turn off. They have conversations with people. They smile. They laugh. They pretend everything is fine. But it's not fine. Every interaction feels hollow. Every person they talk to feels like a distraction from the one person they actually want to talk to. Every moment of their day feels like waiting, waiting for you, waiting for a sign, waiting for something, anything that tells them you haven't disappeared. And when they get home at night, when the distractions fall away, that's when it gets really bad. That's when the spiral begins. They lie in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every interaction you've ever had. They analyze your last conversation, looking for clues. They try to figure out what changed. They wonder if they said something wrong. They wonder if you met someone else. They wonder if you've been pretending this whole time. Their mind is all over the place. They can't focus. They can't sleep. They can't eat. They check their phone 100 times a night, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you've reached out. And every time they see nothing, it feels like a small rejection, a confirmation of their worst fear. And then the cycle starts again the next morning. This is what your silence is doing to them. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Anna, I'm not trying to hurt them. I'm just protecting myself. I'm just taking space. I'm just trying to figure out what I want. And I hear that. I really do. But here's what I want you to understand. Your silence is being interpreted in a way you never intended. When you go silent, they don't think, oh, they're just taking time for themselves. They don't think, oh, they're just processing. They don't think, oh, they're just being careful. What they think is, I've lost them. Their mind jumps to the worst possible conclusion every single time because the not knowing is worse than any answer you could give them. If you told them you weren't interested, they could grieve and move on. If you told them you needed space, they could understand and give it. If you told them you were scared, they could reassure you. But silence is a void, and the void is where their fears have been living, growing, multiplying. They're filling the space you left with the worst stories imaginable. Stories where you've met someone better, where you've realized they're not good enough, where you've decided they're not worth your time. And every day you stay silent, those stories get more elaborate, more convincing, more painful. Let me tell you about the physical signs you might have noticed, because they're there. Have you seen them looking at you with a kind of pleading in their eyes? A question they're too afraid to ask out loud? Have you noticed them getting quieter when they used to be talkative? Or maybe the opposite, talking too much, filling the silence, trying to keep you engaged because they're terrified of what happens when the conversation stops. Have you noticed them checking their phone around you more often? Not because they're not interested, but because they keep hoping you've messaged them. Have you noticed them pulling back a little too, trying to protect themselves from the rejection they sense is coming? These are not signs of indifference. These are signs of someone who is barely holding it together. They are not taking your silence as well as you think, and they are not as strong as they appear. Now, I want to talk about why you've gone silent, because I sense there's a reason that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you've been hurt before and you're trying to protect yourself from going through that again. Maybe you don't trust your own feelings. Maybe you're waiting for certainty that you'll never get unless you take a risk. Maybe you're testing them quietly, unconsciously. You're trying to see if they'll fight for you, if they'll reach out, if they'll prove they care enough to pursue you. And I understand that impulse. I really do. It feels safer to be pursued. It feels safer to have someone prove themselves. But here's what you need to understand: your silence is not a test to them, it's a wound. They don't see it as a challenge, they see it as a confirmation that they're not worthy of your attention. They see it as proof that you've decided they're not the one. They see it as the beginning of the end, and they are grieving that end before it's even happened. I want to share something specific that came through in the energy of this reading. There is a conversation that's waiting to happen, a conversation that you've both been avoiding, a conversation that could change everything. You're both standing on opposite sides of a door that neither of you is willing to open. You, because you're scared of what you might find, them, because they're scared of what they might lose. And the longer you both stand there, the heavier that door gets. The weight of unspoken words, unexpressed feelings, unanswered questions, it's pressing on both of you. But here's the thing: someone has to turn the handle. And I'm telling you, Virgo, that person might need to be you. Not because you're the only one who can, but because you're the one with the power in this moment. You're the one holding the silence, and you're the one who can break it. Let me tell you what will happen if you don't. If you stay silent, if you let this continue, they will eventually pull away, not because they want to, but because they have to, because they can't survive in this kind of uncertainty. Because they'll convince themselves that you don't want them, and they'll try to move on to protect themselves. And by the time you realize you want them, it might be too late. They might not be there anymore. They might have given up. They might have convinced themselves that you were never interested. They might have found someone who makes them feel less afraid. That's the cost of your silence. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to pay it. Now, let me talk about what will happen if you break the silence, if you reach out, if you send a message, if you make a phone call, if you show up and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I've been quiet. I've been going through something. It wasn't about you." That one gesture will change everything. The weight will lift. The fear will start to dissolve. The stories they've been telling themselves will lose their power, and they will feel like they can breathe again for the first time in weeks. They won't need you to have all the answers. They won't need you to say you love them. They won't need you to be certain. All they need is to know you're still there, that you haven't disappeared, that you haven't given up on them. And when they know that, they will be able to relax, to be themselves, to stop spiraling and start showing up. I also want to say something about the power you have right now that you might not realize. You are the one they're worried about. You are the one who matters to them. You are the one who occupies their thoughts when they should be sleeping, their mind when they should be working, their heart when they should be healing. They are not taking your silence as well as you think. They are not indifferent. They are not okay. And your next move will determine everything. So I want to ask you, what do you want? Not what you think you should want, not what feels safest, not what you've convinced yourself is possible. What do you actually, deep down in your heart, want? If you want them, don't let your silence push them away. If you want to see where this could go, don't let your fear get in the way. If you want to be with them, don't let the opportunity pass you by because you were too scared to speak. They are waiting for you. They are hoping for you. They are praying for a sign that you're still there. Please don't let them wait until it's too late. Now, let me give you something specific to watch for. In the next few days, they're going to do something, a test, a reach, a small gesture to see if you're still paying attention. It might be a message, it might be a photo, it might be a memory they share, it might be an invitation. Whatever it is, it's going to be their way of saying, "I'm still here, are you?" And how you respond to that moment will set the tone for everything that follows. So I want you to be ready. I want you to be present. I want you to be open because when they reach out, they're going to be terrified. They're going to be holding their breath, waiting to see what you do. And the moment you respond, the moment you show them that you're still there, you're going to see a transformation happen in them. The fear is going to melt away, the tension is going to release, and the person you fell for is going to come back. They've just been hiding behind their anxiety, behind their insecurity, behind the stories they've been telling themselves, and you have the power to bring them back. Now, I want to close this reading with something important. Your silence has been a wall, but it doesn't have to be a permanent one. You can take it down. You can let them in. You can show them that the silence wasn't about them. And when you do, you're going to create something beautiful, a connection that survived the fear, a love that's weathered the storm, a relationship that's been tested and come out stronger. That's what's waiting for you on the other side of this silence. So I want you to ask yourself, are you ready to open the door? Because they're standing on the other side, waiting, terrified, hoping, and all they need is for you to knock. Now, go ahead, take that step, and watch what happens next.